Hey everyone, welcome back to Tuesday Tea with me, Alicia Belkamujak. My computer is talking to me. Today I'm so excited. Oh, where did I go? Today I am so excited to have Carly with us. She is such an incredible writer. Everyone should go buy your book. We're going to plug that at the end. But she's hilarious. She's just a really fantastic human. I'll let her tell a little bit more about herself as well. But we are really talking about this theme of leading lady energy this month. And no one else came to mind but her. Honestly, she is a true leading lady. So I want to just give her a chance to let you know who she is, give a little background, and then we'll kind of get into it. And I'm so excited for today. So welcome, Carly.
Hi, it's so good to be here. And that was so nice. Like what you just said was so nice. I'm
Okay.
gonna get it tattooed on my arm. Hi, my name is Carly, and I am a writer and comedian and performer. I am the founder of Written in Brooklyn, a home for all things personal storytelling. So basically, what I do is I teach people how to take the raw material of their life and create content from it, whether that is an Instagram post, a story they're going to read on stage, a memoir, just for writing for creative practice. But it's all from your memories and your lived experiences. And yeah, I do that as well. So that's kind of the what I do, and it's the only thing I do.
And she lives in my favorite city ever, New York, which I still miss
Where do
all
you
the
live again?
time. Currently, I'm in Southwest Florida, but I lived in New York for 7 years, so it will always be my favorite place
Do you miss
I
it?
lived. Yeah, yeah.
Would you
But I
ever move
also,
back?
um, I wouldn't because my husband has no interest in living back in the cold. He's from Ohio, like where you're from.
Hmm?
But I also wonder if I miss it because I was in my 20, I lived there from like 22 to 29, and I was basically essentially single for whatever, that's what we'll say. And was
Right.
just like running around grad school, like my first job, like I was allowed to be poor, it didn't matter like what was home, what was sleep. So I don't know if I miss that. I mean, I love New York. Like if I was just a single human in the world, I think I would like end up there. But in a relationship at 38, I don't know if it would be the same. You know what I mean?
You're
So
associating it with these like
that
positive
time.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
I love to visit, and I mean like essentially it like is my energy, so like I love it on that level, but to live there and do that every day now, it like wouldn't be, I don't know, just like would it
Totally.
replicate a
What
thing
area did
that
what did
I
you
was in the Upper West Side for 2 years because I went to Columbia, and so I'd like moved and didn't know, and that's where we lived on 92nd and Riverside. And then I lived in Stuytown on 14th and A for 5 years. So some good
wow,
stuff.
what a completely different
Yeah.
sections, but also both so interesting in their own way.
Yeah, no, I know. The first 2 years we were like, we live with all the like families and dogs, and like it's great up here and we need to be down in the mix. So once I graduated,
Right,
we all
yeah.
moved down.
But with the
So
right next to the water on the Upper West Side. Oh,
oh, it was gorgeous. We looked
that's
over the park and the Hudson, and yeah, it was,
gorgeous.
those were the days, man. Just living large. Okay, but in this vein of today, I kind of want to dive into this idea of like creating the stage. So, we my last talk was around how we have sometimes imposter syndrome. Sometimes it's hard to like believe we really deserve this like leading role and whatever else. Now that might still come up, but I think sometimes we might feel like, yes, like I feel good, I'm proud, but I think sometimes it is hard to think about like, but how do we showcase that? And I think you're the perfect person to talk about this because even in your work, you're giving people platforms anywhere and everywhere. So I'd
Yeah.
love to just like hear your thoughts on how do we sort of create the stage that is our life, and how do we take that ownership instead of it lifing us, if that makes sense.
Wow. Lifing us. That's a great question. Like, okay, just, and my thoughts might be a little jumbled, but like just in terms of like lifing us, that's why I think it's good to just like, I think it's, I don't want to just say perseverance, but I like, it's where's you're putting your focus. Like when you I'm already saying like too many times. When you introduced this with imposter syndrome, that's not something I feel a lot. I have felt it, but
Mhm.
I'm in no way uh plagued by it like a lot of other people because I don't think I put my focus a lot in what other people are thinking. And that is
Mm.
not, I'm not this I'm not better than you.
You're not
But
the super evolved woman who like,
I
I
do
don't give a shit about anyone else's thoughts.
I do care. I care a lot about how my fans and the people who are purchasing my product care. I care how I'm perceived as a business, but I care more about my project. And so I think when you care more
Mm.
about the thing you want to do, like I think that that's the key. You have to care. It's not about not caring about what other people are thinking, but it's caring more about what you want to do, finishing the
Mm.
project. And in the same sense, I'm not a perfectionist. I've never been a perfectionist. I'm just like, what do I want to do? I impose a deadline and I do it. So I know I'm not directly answering it, but I think when it's talking about like creating your own stage, that is something I'm hyper familiar with. I spent a very long time, like a decade, let's say. I really wanted to be famous. I
Mm.
wanted my own TV show, or I wanted to be cast on a TV show. I wanted like someone to like catch one of my shows and like produce it off Broadway. I wanted to tour.
Yeah.
I wanted all these fans. I still want that, but the difference is and also this wasn't just this like pipe dream. This was a reality to a lot of my peers
Hmm.
that I grew up doing comedy with, people I did improv with,
Mm.
right for Saturday Night Live, are on major shows that you would know. Like I know a lot of people that like
That was
re
a reality for them. Like it
yes,
really happened. Hmm.
really
Hmm.
and everyone listening, watching this would know who they are.
Yeah.
That just like never happened for me. And I was right along with them. I was getting the same opportunities they were until they rocketed and I didn't.
Mm.
And I think that goes back to the thing you want to create has to be the biggest thing you want. Or you're gonna get too bogged down with like it didn't like honestly shame. I think what I'm avoiding by
Mm.
like focusing on my creative projects is the shame of like not making it, or like the shame that I made the wrong decision or didn't do the right thing and that person got it and I didn't. Like wanting the thing you want to create will help you overcome jealousy, comparison, bitter. I
Mm.
was so bitter for such a long time.
Yeah.
Um, so this always happens that I talk myself out of the question. Um, oh, giving yourself the stage. So, I mean, what was I gonna, I was either going to make a stage for myself or I was gonna stop
Right.
doing it. You
Right.
know,
Or you'd have to figure a different stage out. Like you were there like going to show up on the stage that you were still on, or you'd have to find something else if you were just going to give up, it sounds like.
yeah.
Or pivot. I mean not give up, but
Right.
pivot
And
to another.
I was the stage I was on was a literal stage. It was called the Upright Citizens Brigade. I don't know.
Hmm.
A lot of people know it, but a lot of people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, it's like actually very famous."
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I worked very hard to get my own content on that stage. That being said, I know I was so lucky. There's a lot of talented people that go through those doors who can't get their own shows on that stage, and I was lucky enough to do so. And I think I could have just gotten really comfortable there and stayed there. And
Hmm.
sometimes at UCB, there's an automatic like audience, and
Yeah,
that's what we're all striving for. Yes, to better our whatever we're doing, but to get people to see, buy into whatever we're doing.
right.
And I had to like walk away to make my own thing. And it's hard,
Mm.
you know, um,
Yeah.
it's hard, but I've just been in the position a few times where I'm like, it's so close to the thing. The thing isn't even guaranteed, but I'm still having to change. They want me to change all this stuff. Like for almost a year, I was in development for my own TV show, and it was working on stage. And when I got like to sell it to this network, like I had to change. I was like so stressed and depressed, and I wasn't making any money
Mm.
because it was in development. And
Right, right.
I don't want that. I want to figure out how to like make this all. I like make this all work on my own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like the opportunity of fame or like taking it to that next level, it was the dream, but at what expense? And it sounds like in that specific opportunity, the expense was basically everything that felt like you or your fingerprint on it. And so then
Yeah.
like what's the choice, right? Like do you sell out essentially and that would be like a definition of that, I guess, in that sense. Or do you stay true to like you and still hope for those next levels or wherever you're going to expand, but still getting to be as authentically you as possible
Yeah.
when you're getting a lot of
Which,
other people
which,
involved.
which
So,
is really important to me. I will say like I, I don't look down on people who sell out or even or
yeah,
like not at it's a we all have to work, but I tried to sell out. But I tried to like get have people give me opportunities. And I have, of course, so many people have given me opportunities, but it was never the thing.
right.
And I decided forever ago that I was not going to take another job. I never have had another job. And I mean, I've had smaller jobs in like college and stuff, but so for me it was like, okay, do you want to make your a living off doing what you want? Then you really have to like put all your eggs in one basket, bet on yourself,
Yes.
and stop waiting for people to give you opportunities,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
even that you don't have to be, I teach writing and you do not have to be as extreme as that. You can, of course, have another job. This is like your pursuit does not have to be your life, but you do have to make a decision. Like you're waiting, I think a lot of people are waiting for people to say, you can do this, permission.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
back to the same principles, like
Yeah.
waiting waiting for someone to give you permission versus like giving it yourself.
Yes.
Also with my students, like there are definitely times most of their questions are great questions and questions about the craft and structure, producing, whatnot. But I'm like, you could answer this yourself. What do you think?
Hmm.
Like someone's like, is it better to write like on a computer or freehand? It's like, do you think that there's an answer to that? So I think that it's about being honest with yourself. Like, is this a question I really need an answer to, or is this validation I'm seeking? You know,
Right. Right.
I'm
And
talking a lot very broadly and quickly.
no, it's making sense. But I guess like so to like take that a deeper level for you personally, what helps you feel confident enough to give yourself that permission, or like what has helped, or what can maybe on days that you feel like you want that that permission from someone else, but reminding yourself that
Like,
you're the one that can give it.
okay, two things. The first thing is, I think sometimes there's not even time to think about confidence. Like, there's this thing I
Mm,
want to do. I set myself up to do it.
we're
I
just doing it.
We're doing it. Like I charged people money, like there's a deadline. Like of course I'm human and I've struggled with all of these like emotions of not feeling good enough, wondering if I'm ever going to make it. But the truth of that is it's a luxury. Like just
Mm,
do it and like, or like, who are you to think that you're better than failing? Like
huh.
fail. I
Yeah.
come from
Yeah.
my mother was in the military, so this is like how we ran things in our household. Like there's no time to be like, am I good enough? It's just like do it.
Just do
Nobody,
it. Right.
yeah. Oh, actually, I think I have three things in when it pertains to confidence. The second thing is, and this is I think really okay, I have this thing, it's called a validation spank bank. And I encourage everyone to start one. And like mine is like physical. It's okay. I'll tell you how to okay. So you think of all the compliments you've ever gotten. And if you can't remember the compliments, you text or email your friends and be like so I'm a writer and performer. And so maybe if somebody texts me after a show being like I love that show, or I read your book, and any compliment I've ever received by written correspondence I have screenshotted, and it is
Mm.
literally in a folder on my phone called validation spank bank. So the next time I doubt myself or I'm feeling nervous before a show or I'm like no one's going to understand this, I look through those photos.
Hmm.
And again, you can start that now. You can reach out to your friends and being like, what did you think of the last time I did this? Or what was that thing you said to me after I did that one thing? Screenshot it and put it in your validation spank bank. Life moves so fast and we don't remember. We
Yeah.
don't remember like that we have impacted somebody. Um, so I think that's really important. And then the third thing I will say in terms of okay, I have four things. The fourth thing is, along with the validation spank bank, I have failed and succeeded so many times. So
Hmm.
I just like when you do that, the failures don't hurt as bad.
Right.
Successes don't feel as great though. So you get somewhere in the middle. So you're like, this could fail and that would suck. And this could succeed and that would be great. But it's not ever going to be the thing that changes your life for better or for worse.
Hmm.
Life moves on after the success and you have to start
Mm-hmm.
again. Life moves
Mm-hmm.
after the failure and you start again. So
Mm-hmm.
like I honestly just exposing yourself to both success and failure. And the only way you can expose yourself to success and failure is just try
Exactly. Taking that action.
taking that action. And then the fourth thing, and this is true. It's something that that's been comforting me a lot lately is just the reminder that like we will die. This is all a game and you can't take any of this with you.
Mm.
Nothing, nothing. You can take nothing with you. This
Mhm.
idea of a legacy is bullshit because you are dead and you don't like this idea
You
of
don't
legacy.
really know.
I think legacy is so indulgent and conceited.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but just my door. Did you hear that? Somebody buzzed. But I don't think it's for me and I'm not answering it. Yeah, just knowing that like this is just a game. This is just a game. And if you're not going to play it and have fun and get hurt and what,
And what are we doing?
what are you doing? Yeah, so those things. Um, yeah, those things.
Yeah. No, I think I love that idea of having a visual reminder of your wins or of the ways people see you, that are like the compliments or the praise. I know as I also work as a therapist, and I've been doing it for so many years now, and I have like pretty high functioning clients. So it's not like I'm so worried about people and then all of a sudden they're like fine again. I think that they're kind of just like average humans. So I forget sometimes that we're like doing work because I feel like they're my friends. But I got a email from one of my clients like very unexpectedly, just like reflecting back on all the work we've done and how much it's meant to her and kind of where she's come. And I totally brought tears to my eyes, but it was so needed because I do think sometimes even in professions that you feel good in, or you're like I am a good therapist, I like doing this, but the impact we have on others still can get lost. And I think that can, it doesn't have to be like a helping profession like a therapy relationship to have that, but as a performer, as a teacher, as a whatever, we forget that we also, as much as I know I'm impacted by my work and the work I do, I forget that I'm also impacting people too. And it's sometimes really nice to hear that. And it's also nice to remember that for the days that maybe it's not full on imposter syndrome, but the days that it feels harder to get up and do the thing, or we are like less confident in ourselves, or we're wondering all the things, or why am
Or
I even
we're just
doing
like
this?
stuck in the middle of the process and we can't
Yes,
find motivation.
yes, yes.
I teach mainly over Zoom now, but I used to teach in person and I teach storytelling. So at the end of our storytelling classes, when we were in person before the pandemic, there would be a performance. And so the class before the performance, everybody, let's say there were 8 people in the class, everybody would write a note for each person in the class, just saying like what they liked about them, that over the course of the class,
Yeah.
and how they were inspired, what they thought of
Mm-hmm.
their story, and then the students wouldn't would hold on to them and read it right before the performance, literally 10 minutes
Oh,
before
wow.
on stage. And like a couple months ago, like I had a student years ago, like this was 2019, and a few weeks ago, she was going on a job interview and she like took a photo of this like of like she had taken a couple classes and kept all the notes, and she was in a cab to the job interview, and she was rereading the notes, and she took a photo of it. It was very sweet. And so
Wow.
I just that combined with I had an improv teacher tell me like before you go on stage, like remember a time you were funny, like recall a time people laughed at you. Anyway, I think this validation spank bank like really works wonders. Like I got a lot of compliments on my book, like, from friends who read it or whatever. And when I'm like, stuck on writing or when I feel like what I'm doing, like who cares about what I'm doing,
Right.
those notes really go a very long way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because ultimately, I think it just keeps coming back to this is our life, like what you said, like only you get to live it. If you're not living your life, then what are you doing? And we give that permission away so easily to
Yeah.
let others essentially run our lives, some in not as healthy ways and some not well-meaning people. But if we're not taking ownership, someone's going to like jump in, or there's space for other people's voices to jump in. And I think it can feel scary, but it is so empowering. Like what you're saying, it's just this clear vision and passion for what you know you want to do and who you want to be. That
Mhm.
so many people don't always have that and don't realize how empty life is until I think that they get to a place where they are more in that space and are like, holy shit, like what have I been doing? Right?
Yeah.
Because it feels like everything's fine and we're just kind of bobbing along, but you do need the failure to actually know what a win feels like, because
Mhm.
without it it just feels kind of like checking boxes. It's the yin and the yang of everything in life. Like one does not, you need both to really like what was I watching a video of Bob Ross painting, but he was talking about in paintings you need darkness and light. If it's all dark, it's all dark. If it's all light, it's all light. Like both have to be there
You need the
to make
contrast.
it look beautiful and to make it impactful, even if it's uncomfortable or hard or whatever else. Like that, it can't, the good feeling doesn't happen if we don't know what a bad feeling is. Like then there is no good and bad if everything is just good, right?
Right. Yes. And I know I don't want to sound I feel like I'm sounding slightly cliche, like, oh, you learn from the failures, but you do. The reason,
No.
like, this is true. I have this small business written in Brooklyn. It's small. I'm growing it and I believe in it, but it's my career and it provides financial stability, but also a kind of emotional stability, like
Mm-hmm.
emotional validation. I can't even, I don't even know another source where it could come from.
Yeah.
Um, but the reason I even have it is because I was trying to write all these solo shows and I was doing storytelling and I was doing it. I was getting up on stage and doing it. The first Fringe Festival I went to, the first review I got, what it said, Carly and Philbin is the girl everybody hated in high school. Like I did make a lot of mistakes. I did not have a blueprint or a book or a coach or a teacher. Like I couldn't find the person that was doing exactly the thing I wanted to do at the time. Now it's a little bit different, but still, I don't think a lot of like storytelling teachers, they're not as prevalent as like yoga teachers or ceramics
Yeah.
teachers. Um, but my point is like I had to really learn through a lot, and I don't want to just call them failures, like a lot of trial and error. Like even my last solo show, I'm like, oh yeah, a year later, looking back on it, I'm like, it's not a failure, but I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done
Would
this.
have done stuff
Oh, I
differently.
understand this better now. So all of my experience through like putting myself out there and the good, the bad. Like I'm telling you, like I've had to pour my heart out for like three people in the audience. It's not cute,
Mm-hmm.
had to do that at midnight. Like it would be well
Mm-hmm.
wasted. But I have made mistakes. I've also just learned from experience. So my point is like I wouldn't have what I have now if I didn't quote unquote fail. If there wasn't things that I'm like, oh, I had to learn by doing this and now I know how to do it better and I can
Right.
teach it to other
Right.
people. Like if it was also easy for me, what would I learn? And like how would I have any empathy for my students, you know?
Right. Right. And we don't know what we don't know. And so, like, by doing, by learning, by experiencing, by trying. And, I think it continues to go back, like, even that very first conversation about, like, where would I live right now? Like, I've lived a lot of places, but I've had to live lots of places to know what I like, what I don't like at this age in my life, on this stage I'm at, where do I belong versus my 20-year-old self. Like this is that beautiful thing about life. We're always sort of evolving and growing and ever changing. But as long as we keep coming back to just that important conversation with ourselves, like, who am I? What do I want? What's
Yeah.
going on? What feels right? What do I need to leave behind? What can I take and learn from? And what do I keep the same?
Yeah.
That's the work. Like there isn't one answer. Your life could be 1,000 different ways and they'd all be right if that's what you wanted them to be. Like it isn't just like one thing at the end of the day,
Right.
I don't think.
And I think that check-in is vital and constant. Like it's not you do it once and then you're over. I think we're like in so many ways, in so many different areas of our life, we're unlearning things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's honestly one of my favorite parts about life. Like being like, oh wow, I thought this was a rule and it's just a suggestion. And
Yeah.
we're all of us are carrying those with us. Like this doesn't have to be this way. I was thinking about that. I'm listening to this book called Unreasonable Hospitality. Have you heard?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I think maybe it's more famous than I realized, but it's by one of the, I don't know if he's the owner or what, but one of the people who is involved in 11 Madison Park, which is one of the
Mm-hmm.
best restaurants in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me think like I have a comedy show tonight, my monthly show. And I produce it myself. The space gives us the space, but I like bring in the door girl, what I do everything.
Right.
And and I'm doing what I know of how shows operate. You
Mm-hmm.
buy a ticket, you walk in, you tell someone your name or you show them the ticket, you find a seat, the show starts. But through this book, I'm like, well, what could be different? Like, what if the performers like had like these are just ideas.
Yeah.
Like what if after the show that like there's like a receiving line for the performers. Like and that will
Mm.
encourage people to leave the event space and go into the bar quicker turnaround. They also get to give the compliments to the performers. And there's like
Yeah.
a lot of times after the show you get stuck talking with people. You're like, oh, I kind of got to move on and my friends are here. Maybe that will eliminate that. I already like when I was doing my solo shows at UCB, most people are in the green room, like getting ready. They walk
Mm-hmm.
on stage when the show starts. I always stayed in the front. I would greet people as they walked in because it made it easier for me. I know they're a
Mm.
solo show at a comedy theater. I wanted them to like, I don't know, I wanted to put them at ease. Like I'm a real person.
Yeah.
We have a connection now. Now you're about to hear about my personal life. But it's exciting for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's wildly frustrating. And I feel like I've been kind of stuck in the same place for a while. But it's always exciting to me to be like, well, what can I do different?
Yeah.
Like with my classes, like I teach writing. We get onto Zoom at a certain time, we take a break, they have homework every week. Like that's the standard. That's what I've been doing. That's what I know of classes. But like,
What if
why?
you did it differently?
What if I
Yeah.
did it differently?
Yeah.
My classes are 3 hours long. And they have been because that's what improv classes are. But like maybe it's different, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, like discovering different ways to do things. Like I said, it is very frustrating because there's real stakes. Like people need to come to my show. I need to make money. Um,
Right. You need some semblance of what people expect. Like it can't be so different that people are like, I don't know what that is anymore. But it doesn't like what are these constructs we subscribe to and like why? I
yeah.
like when I got married, I asked all the same thing. I was like, why would I wear a white dress? Like, why do people do that? Why do we use this language? What the fuck's up with like a bridesmaid? Why do I? Because I wanted to understand where it all came from to then decide if I liked that or if I was like, I hate the origin, but I still like white, so I'll wear whatever. But I like that idea of questioning, like, why do we do these things? Maybe I'll
Yeah.
keep it, but I want to understand like or why do I have to have a shower? Like, what's the purpose of that? Like, I don't want one, so
Yeah.
I just like, it felt very empowering for me to then create what I wanted for my wedding. And I could use old traditions or make my own, but I liked understanding the why because I think too often we just do stuff and we
Yeah.
don't really sit and ask like, where did that even come from?
And you're
And
right.
like, do I
Like
want to keep doing it?
like interrogating all these, let's
Hmm.
say, traditions
Hmm.
and deciding which ones are for you and which ones aren't, that is a part of creating your own stage. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, I I I really I was in this system that's like this is what you do. And everybody like wanted to be on top, wanted stage time. So nobody questioned the system. Now I think like and now that I'm teaching and I teach a very like gatekeeper free,
Hmm.
create art. I I had to step away from like UCB for a minute because like, oh, I could do the people are like, why isn't this show at UCB? And I'm like, because I would make way more money not having it there,
Right.
And I was
Right.
never thinking about that like 10 years ago because I want and maybe that was the best choice for me to be there 10 years ago to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But now,
It's not.
yeah, and it seems like, duh, of course, go where you're gonna make more money. But like when I made this decision to like have my show elsewhere, it was like it dawned on me. Like, oh,
That you're allowed to.
I was allowed to, and I could th me like
It could be yours,
it
not
could
sharing it under giving someone else half of it
yeah,
just to like use their name or whatever
yeah.
else.
And
So,
it comes with its own struggles, of
of
course,
course.
but I don't know, creative control, I know the theme is like building your own stage, is creative control is like the
Key.
number one thing for me. It's the thing I want the most of. I
Hmm.
will make less money because of it. I will, yeah, basically, I think less money is the downfall. But it means so much to me. Like if I'm gonna sacrifice everything to do things my way anyway, then
And
why? Yeah.
then
Like if
just
I was gonna let
go
someone,
all in.
yeah,
Yeah.
or else maybe I should just get a corporate job that I like, you know?
Right. Where you're selling your soul anyways.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Hmm.
No, I grew up in LA, so I grew up around a lot of folks, also knew a lot of people who like went into shows and all of that. So I did a lot of theater in high school just because like I enjoyed it, but I was like, I never wanted to be famous. I like saw the other side of that world growing up in that area. But I will give you the credit, like actors, performers, you guys like know how to fail. Like as a perfectionist, I'd also like I was like, oh, like just the amount of having to put your whole self out there in such a vulnerable way over and
The
over and
reject,
over
it's the
to get told
reject.
like you don't have enough freckles, like which you can't control, or like dumb shit like that is why,
Oh my
it's
God.
it's just it's wild.
And the
So
time, like the time I've gone to like, because
yes.
I used to be more of an actor. Now I really just want to write my own stuff, put it on stage,
Hmm.
and teach it to other people. I don't
Hmm.
want to find a character. That being
Right.
said,
Like read a
having
script
to take a
and someone
job,
else's.
having to
Yeah.
take a job in a TV show that I feel like is right for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I just spent so much time in my 20s and 30s, like going to like first, second, third callbacks where it's hours out of your life.
So much.
It's like you're taking the train 45 minutes into the city. I live in Brooklyn. It's not like I live in Connecticut. It's still like
No,
they're
it's far.
behind. You're trying to make this next
Yeah.
thing. But I've gone to multiple auditions, callbacks, where they've spent it's been so much time from me given like in the building, either waiting for the next round or
Yep.
whatever, for the project to not even go through.
Right.
Like the commercial just gets
Right.
canceled.
Right.
So I don't want that life. I want to
No.
create my own money and I want to create my own performance opportunities. Right now it's working and I just only want to go up, 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 you know?
I love that. And you're going to. You're so talented and
Thank you.
hilarious. And I think also it's about that like grit and determination. And I think just so many different books I've read it isn't a cliche because it said a lot, but it's true. It's just that yeah, like if you don't try, then there's no possibility of an outcome. If you're
Yeah.
not like there's no perseverance, like you just sit down and give up, then that's what's going to happen, right? So the
Yeah.
failure trope is like real because it like again it's the yin and the yang, like we succeed and like it didn't go through or it wasn't what we expected. Both have to happen, but all of that comes back to like the action, the perseverance, and the
Yeah.
like okay, I know what I need, and like head down or up whatever, and I'm like going for it. But the
Yeah.
minute you stop or let someone else like shiny object here or listen to someone else's voice over there, now you're like you're not like lost, we can get back, but you're taking the much more scenic route, that's also going to come with its own highs, lows,
Yeah.
etc.
And I
So
think that leads back to something I said at the beginning, which is like put the thing that you want at the very top of the list. And I know that sounds obvious, but
But we don't
it's
do it
got to
enough.
be before like how you're perceived.
Yeah.
It's got to be even before like how you know how it's going how this is all going to work out, how you're going to
Right.
get there. And that is just so you got to have the thing that you're striving for. You have to really believe in that.
Yeah.
Like you have to really believe in it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that what would be like a final little mantra or statement or thought that you want to kind of leave folks with at the end of all this?
Well, right now with my newfound comfort in the fact that we will all die, I feel like I try to embody so what? So what? This is like right before this call, I got word that tonight in my menu there is going to be like a pizza pop-up. And I'm like, there's like a venue space and there's a bar space. And so the pizza pop-up is in my venue space. So the people from the bar are going to have to like walk in to my sold out show.
To
And
get their pizza.
and like a year ago, that would have like I would be, I'm
Sent you
telling you,
over.
full blown panic. But I just took a deep breath. I'm like, okay, well, if this is how I emailed him like, how can we fix this? Like, here's what I would like to happen. Is there something we can do? And she was like, okay, we'll only do table service. So they will be delivering the pizza, but nobody will be like coming in. And I'm
Okay.
like, perfect. And if there's noise in the back, there's a little bit of noise in the back. It's a live event. And also something I've learned about, I mean, I could go on all day about how anti I am about people pleasers and like apologizers. And I know a lot of people listening to this are probably people pleasers, but they do ruin my life personally. But something I do a lot that I think is a detriment is like I'm checking in. Like I do in-person journaling workshops. And I'm always like, is it too loud in here? Like, is it this? Is it this? And I think the vibe from people is like, stop. It's like fine. And honestly, if I stopped bringing it up, no one would notice that the noise was a little bit too loud. No one would
Right.
notice this.
Right.
So I think like yes, you need to check in on the people you're taking care of, but there comes a point like, am I concerned with how they feel, or am I looking for validation that this is going smoothly? So
Right.
I think saying like, so what kind of eliminates that. Like,
Yeah.
you guys okay? Cool. And then
And
everything else,
so
like
what's all the
music, so
extra?
what? There's pizza,
Mm-hmm.
so what? Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's late, so what? And
Yeah.
years I operated from the opposite mentality, and I think I really retracted people. The Carly is too much.
The girl
So yeah,
everyone hates in high school.
it's a nice goal. So just a little bit of a so what?
I love that.
That was hard for me to adapt because I'm like, oh, am I giving up? Or you know what I mean? Am I not taking this as seriously?
No, you're letting go of the shit that you really can't control and does not deserve our energy.
Letting go
So
and
what?
trusting that what I have to offer is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like it's all gonna be what it is, and you're
it
just
is.
gonna show up and do the best you can.
And you know
So,
what? After this night, we're gonna live, and then
yeah,
we're gonna die, and that's the cycle.
exactly. Exactly. And on that note, um, so if folks wanted to connect with you, or I don't know, can you not live in New York and take your classes? Like what are a few things just if people wanted to like learn more or get involved with you?
Yeah. You can check out writteninbrooklyn.com. You can go to the Written in Brooklyn website. You can go to, oh, I'm at Instagram. You can go to my Instagram, Carly and Filbin. I'm very online. So there's multiple ways, multiple forms on writteninbrooklyn.com to fill out if you want to get on the mailing list or speak to me. Almost everything I do is virtual. I have an in-person journaling club in New York, but my main multi-week classes are uh are all
Via
virtual. And I've
Zoom.
had people take it from Copenhagen, Italy. It's been a really fun worldwide experience.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this conversation today. It was incredible. I know people are going to get a lot out of it. I always love chatting with you, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck on your show tonight. And I hope
Thank
everyone has a
you.
great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.